This conference will now be recorded.
Yukta, what is our last class?
My last class was day before yesterday.
Yeah, that's what it is. What I was explained that in our previous class. Deepika?
Yes.
What I was explained in our previous class.
You've explained basics of programming.
Yeah.
Syntax.
Oh yeah. Now I got it.
Explained a few syntax to execute in Anaconda and how to download Python. I'm sorry,
Okay.
in the background it's my dog disturbing. I'll mute myself.
Yeah, sure. I will. I got to know actually. So thank you so much for remembering. Okay. Yeah. Yes, fine. So guys, I think this is the new model about a Python programming language. So even if you are not attending any previous classes, you don't worry. And this class, it could be a very interesting, and you could learn some more information about Python programming language. Okay. See, the Python is a programming language. If you want to work with Python programming language, make sure that you should have a software in your laptops. Okay. For example, but if you want to work with Python programming language, really you don't require laptop as well. Okay. So the reason is that the Google is providing a collab. Okay. Google Colab.research. So if you want to work with Python programming language and you don't have enough software space, whatever it is, but you don't worry. If you have a Gmail account, then it's fair enough. Okay. So what I will do, you can just Google something like Google Colab. You just Google something like this. Okay, Google Colab notebook, whatever it is, you can type something like this. By the time you will get the research.google.com. Okay, you just click on it. Okay, now you can Google collab.network. Okay, yes. Okay, again, which is same thing. I don't like it. Google Colab Python. Okay, or notebook, whatever it is. You just do something like this. Notebook also. Notebook. So when you do something like this, which is welcome to Google Colab Laboratory, and you just gone to this particular link. Okay, collab.research.google.com. Okay, this is my personal Gmail, so I'm not going into this one. I can go through this one. Okay, yeah. Google Colab notebook. So you can Google something like this, Google Colab notebook. So here we can just click on the research.google.com with that particular website. So which is providing valuable information for you. Okay. So which are examples recent and Google Drive, GitHub and uploads. You can upload a lot of things over here. For example, if you want to delete anything, yes, you can delete your history and you can delete. Yes, you deleted everything. Okay. So for example, I want to create the new notebook. You just click on the new notebook. So when you click on the new notebook, which is go for creating a new Jupyter file on your Google Drive. Okay. So the name, it could be untitled. So, and you can modify the name, for example, sample, right? This is sample Jupyter file. This is the Jupyter file actually. So IPYNB, you don't need to go for download the software as well. Okay. You just have a web, if you have a Gmail account, then you can go and work with Python programming language, cloud itself, Google Cloud itself. Okay, and it may giving a lot of memory, RAM, and everything can be providing by the Google. Okay, so that the speed of execution little bit faster than your local computer. Okay, so with this particular box, you can write some kind of Python programs. See, if you go with any programming language, the program it may contains the two things. The first one is the comment. Okay, the first one is the comment, and the second one is the statement. Okay, every programming language, you can go with any programming language. So the program it could be contains the two things, comment and statement. Let me go for understanding the comment. So comment means it's a very simple thing, guys. It's something like to describe. If you want to describe about something like this, to describe the statement, your own language, or else function if you want to describe about functions, or if you want to describe about program, okay, and in your own way, so that it could be easy to understand. So something like it's a documentation. So document, you are creating the document your own way within the program with help of the comments. That exactly the comment, guys. Okay, when you created the comments in a program, so that particular lines it could not execute it. So that means again the definition of the comment is very simple thing. A line in a program, a line in a program, okay, it could not execute it. A line in a program which is not executable, not read by CPU. So CPU which is always try to read the each and every line in a program. Okay, so some of the lines which is not able to read, so that it could not understood, and moreover it giving a brief explanation about that particular statements or functions and programs in your own way, so that if you open the same program after 10 days or 20 days or 1 year, so you can easily understand what you did in your last modification. Clear? So that's exactly the comments. So in a program, in a Python program, the comments which can be started with a hash character. So if comments which is started with a hash character, then which is commenting only single line, we are stopping execution, which we are stopping read by the CPU only one line, only one line comment. So if you want to write only one line comment, then make sure that we can start with hash character. No, I want to go with multiple line comment. Multiple line comment in the sense within the triple quotes. Here we have a triple quote and here we have a triple quote. With this particular triple quote, we can write the multiple lines. So this all lines which is not read by the CPU. Clear? Clear or not? Now let's go for understanding the statement. Statement means it's a very simple thing. A line of program in a line in a program, a line in a program, it can be executable. It can be read by, which is read by CPU, then that we are calling it say statement. See, for example, when the statement is executed, the CPU can taking that particular action, and it which is taking that particular line, it can understand that particular line, and it can performing some kind of task by the CPU that it can done by the with help of the statements only. Let me consider I have to print the hello. So when I used the print statement, so this is the print is the line and hello is the one line. So this is the entire thing will be it's a one line, and whenever which is executed by the CPU, it can understand by this particular line by the CPU, and it was understanding that it can be printing the hello on the screen, so that we are getting output is the hello. Clear? So for example, if you want to display the lines, okay, clear? So I hope you understood what is comments and what is statements. Statements in a program, it can read by the computer. Okay, so here we are reading the CPU is reading this particular statement, the last statement, so that we are getting only one output. The rest of the things are comments, which is not executable. I hope you understood.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Salahuddin, are you there here?
Yes,
So did you got it what I was trying to explain in here?
yes. It's
Sai?
all programming like
Yeah, it's very similar to all programming languages. And there, some of the lines it can be executable, some of the lines which not executable. The thing will be there in your hand. Okay, if you want to stop execution by the CPU, simply we can start with the hash character, or else if you want to stop the multiple lines in one time, then we can use the triple quotes. That's it. Okay, something you're not using the hash character and triple quotes. If you're writing anything it was try to read by the CPU, if you're not following the proper syntax, then you will be getting the syntax error. Okay, so for example you want to print hello, but we were use something like hello, but unfortunately we used that single double quote also. We are not following the proper syntax. That's the reason we are getting the syntax error. So make sure that if you're getting the syntax error means the line which is read by the CPU, but the CPU is not understood, so that which we are getting error. But when comes to the before example, these are the lines which is which is not even try to read by the CPU, which is hidden thing in front of the CPU. Okay. Yep. Now the next concept, you can go with any programming language. The programming language which having its own names, the names we are calling it's a keywords. So this is very, very important. So keywords are, it's a predefined names. What it is? Why this always giving this information? Okay. Yeah. So let me go for understanding the keywords. Keywords means, so every programming language which may have some predefined words. Predefined words. So in Python programming language also, we have some predefined words are there. I just want to see it where it is available. So here import is the keyword. With help of the keyword, we can import the some keyword library. Inside of the keyword library, you can able to see that all keywords. If I want to see that what are the keywords are there, so the all keywords are available inside of the keyword. The name is KW list, which is containing the all the keywords. So we can see false and none, true and, as, assert, asynchronous, await, break, class, continue, def, del, elif, else. These are all predefined names. Yield, with, while, try, return, tries, pass, are, not, non-local, lambda, is, in, import, if, global, from, for, finally. These are all keywords only. See, if you want to understand this all keywords in one time, that is our foolishness. Okay, don't try to remember all keywords in one shot, and don't try to understand where we can use it, this all keywords in one shot. So when you know where to use it, how to use it, this all keywords, which means that you have 100% of the knowledge on that particular programming language. Okay, so within the first class itself, if you try to understand all keywords and if you want to know it where we can use it, in the sense it could be really foolishness or not. So don't try to remember all the things. I can explain you each and every keyword at times comes for us. Okay, so here I just want to tell you one thing. Every programming language same like Python is also there, and which is also having some names, predefined names, and each and every name, it could define it for some specific purposes, and those purposes will talk about in further classes one after one. Clear? So here false, none, and true, these are the keywords. These three keywords are the data type definitions. For example, I just want to create some Boolean data. So I want to hold some data in one variable. So var equal to, I just want to create the true. See, I just want to know it. What is the data type of this one? It could be bool data type. Okay. So type is the function. It can help you to know the data type. See here, true is the keyword which is there inside of the keyword library or not. In the meanwhile, none is also keyword, false also keyword, and each and every name here what you can see on my screen, it could be keywords only. Okay, this is each keyword I can explain you now. Good examples in further classes. So if you want to note it, this information, you can try to note it. I just wait for you.
So a small doubt. So this keywords that you've explained, these are available in whatever Anaconda or Python.
Every it doesn't mean that only in Python too. It can available in all IDEs like PyCharm. Okay, those are the just softwares, but the code is the language is not changing. Only software is changing, but internal structure and everything could be the same.
Okay, so the keywords is going to be same,
Yeah,
constant.
yeah, 100%. The keywords it could be the same.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Manasa, are you there here? Sai, did you got my point?
Sir.
Good enough. Okay. Someone joined with the name of BC. May I know who is this?
Hey, good morning. We spoke via WhatsApp earlier today.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no problem. We'll catch up after the class. Okay.
yes, sir.
Good enough. Okay, now let's go for understand. These are the keywords, right? These names which won't change forever. It could be the same. And each and every keyword which was especially designed for it, I can explain you each and every keyword in a concepts wise. If I'm talking about data types, definitely I can talk about some keywords are there in data type. Sorry, some keywords are there for data types. If I'm talking about control statements, definitely there is some keywords are there in for understanding the control statements to performing the control statement operations. Okay, so when time comes, I can explain you each and every keyword and just showing you overview. So what are the keywords are there, and is it same for all the softwares? Yes, it can be same for all software if it is a Python programming language. Now let's go for understanding the identifiers. So identifiers means it's a very simple thing, guys. Previously we saw keywords. Keywords means which are the predefined words, right? But when it comes to the identifier, which are user defined names. So user defined names means the names which is defined by the programmer. For example, I am the programmer. May I require some information? May I require use some names? The time I have a chance to create my own names. For that, you can use the identifier. Okay. So here user defined names are the user defined names is nothing but it's a which is created by the programmer. Okay, so here but if you want to create the names and where we can use it, why we need to create this thing, we should know, right? For example, you have some variables, and if you want to define the names of variables, so if you want to define the variable names, or else you have some kind of functions, and if you want to define the function names, okay, if you want to define our own classes, then the classes should have some names. Okay, if you want to create some methods, the methods it may have some names, and if you want to create some objects, the objects may have some names, right? So here every time the common thing we are getting names, right? So simply I can say identifiers is nothing but it's the name entities for, if you want to create the name entities for variables, functions, classes, you don't worry what is variables, what is functions, what is methods, what is objects, you don't worry, I can explain you. Just try to understand. Identifiers means which are just names, the names which is defined by the programmer. Why? Maybe in the program. By writing up the program, maybe he needs some support to store some information. He requires some data. He requires some names to define some information. Then that particular situation, he have only one possibility, that is identifier. Okay. But okay, so if you want to define the identifiers, do I need to follow some rules? 100%. Without rules, you could not. The rules are every name, every identifier, it could be the same rule it is following. The first rule is we can use alphabets. Here alphabets means small a to small z, or else capital A to a capital Z, so that we can use it. The next one is we can use digits. Okay, so 0 to 9. And third one is we can use underscore. Underscore, shift with minus. So let me try to do this particular thing. And before I conclude this particular rules, I just want to explain the variable. The reason is that variable is the one type of the identifier. That's what. So variable means which are the names or which are the identifiers to store some data. To store the data in a memory locations. If you want to store the data in the memory locations, make sure that you should have the variables. With the help of the variables, we can store some data in the memory locations. Okay, but in case of Python programming language, we can directly assign the data to the variables. For example, var equal to 123. Here 123 is the data, is the integer data, and we are holding in memory location. We are accessing, not holding, we are accessing the 123 with var variable, var name. Is it clear? So which means I just want to print 123, you just simply go with print var. Now we are getting output is 123. So careful observe here, this is a var is the identifier. So when you're defining this kind of variable names, make sure that we have to follow this particular rules. Now I can try this particular rules. I can use the uppercase letters and lowercase letters, and we can use the digits, and we can use underscore also. You can do anything, whatever I can mention in the rules, we will use it. We can use uppercase letters, we can use smaller case letters, we can use digits, we can use underscore. Okay, if I print this one, we are getting the 345. So why we are not getting any kind of error? Because of this is the name which is 100% following these rules only. Okay, that's fine. Now what I will do, I will start with the digit. I can use the digit, right? But whenever I started with the digit, I can get this some syntax error. So here the rule is we can use the digits, but don't start with the digit. So here's another.
So we can use the minus to start minus if take it.
I can tell you that one. Okay, don't start with digits. Okay, don't start with the digit. So that's the reason we are getting the error. That's fine. Now, so you can use only underscore. It's not minus, guys. This is underscore. Shift with minus. Minus is different. Some underscore is different. For example, so I can use the what you said it minus var equal to 123. So this could be error. The reason is that minus is the special character. So special characters, don't use the special characters. So one more rule is don't use special character, whether it is the first or middle or whatever it is. Don't use the special characters. You might be thinking, what are the special characters? Except underscore, everything will be, it's a special character. Except digits, except alphabets, except underscore, you can use any special character. That could all errors only. These are all errors only. Okay, these are all special characters. Okay, so if I use the special characters, then it could be an error. For example, I can use @ symbol. Even @ also it's a special character, so that we are getting the syntax error. So make sure that when you defining the identifiers, we have to follow these rules. Here Special characters are which could not, if I use in a identifier, okay, creation of some user defined names, then you will get some errors. And if I use underscore, you won't get any error. For example, if I want to start with the underscore, no, you are not getting any error. We were not getting any error because of the special character. Underscore is not a special character, which is some special. It's not a special character, so underscore. So we are starting with underscore. That could not be an error. Okay, that's fine. You can see previously I shown you some keywords, right? These are all keywords. See these keywords, if I want to, if I try to use it as a identifier, that could also an error. That could also an error. For example, try is my keyword. So this color, if you can see this particular color, that color indicating that's a keyword. Okay, if I use the keyword, then it could be an error. So for example, if is also keyword, so you can see that color, you can see the color indicating that this is the color indicating that it's a keyword. And for example, else 45, so else is also keyword. So here you can see some keywords in my previous example. So these keywords, don't use it. But you know, Python is the case sensitive. Case sensitive. So case sensitive, right? Case sensitive means uppercase letters are different and lowercase letters are different. For example, while is a keyword. If I try to use it an identifier, it could be error. But the same way, if I use the capital W, here this is also while, right? Here this is also while, right? But you're not getting any kind of error. We're not getting any kind of error. Okay. Is it clear or not?
Yes.
Whatever the keywords are there, those keywords don't use it. So here I'm defining the rules with example. I hope you understood. Don't use keywords as an identifier. Okay, so can you note these examples? I mean, these statements, whatever I explained, identifier and the rules of identifier with a lot of examples. There are examples or not? I hope you understood. If you're not understood, please raise your voice. Definitely I can answer you.
Understood, sir.
Okay.
One thing, so you explained something Boolean, right? Where is true?
So these are the keywords here: true, false, none. These are the keywords. These keywords we were
Yeah.
using by the time of defining the Boolean data and none data type. So I was not explaining the data type concepts. After by the time of explanation of data type, then I can introduce these keywords. Okay.
Okay. I just have one question. So you see below the keywords, there's a Boolean, yeah, where is true. So if you execute that statement, do you get type where type true? I don't understand that.
Oh, don't think too much about this one. I just explain about example of keyword. Okay. True is the keyword. This true keyword usually we were using to define the Boolean data. Okay. So this true, if I am assigning to some variable, this variable which automatically Boolean data.
Okay.
So if you want to know it, what is the data type of this variable, then that time I can use the type function so that I'm getting the data type is the bool. Okay. So don't think about this particular example. I'm just explaining the keywords, and there is some keywords we can use in different situations. That's what I'm not explaining in detail of each and every keyword, because of you might be confused. So you could not understand all keywords in one shot, right? So in times comes, then I can explain you. Now the time is coming to explaining about data type. So now you can thoroughly understand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Now my question is that I explained the identifier, and please note this information. If you're not following these rules, definitely you will be getting a lot of syntax errors. Once this one is done, let me know. I will try to explain the point of data types. Done. Okay, good enough. Now I would like to go for explaining about data types. Okay. In case of Python programming language, we have a lot of data types are there. So data types means, which is very simple thing, that data, what type of data, nothing but type of data in the memory locations, that we are calling it's a data type actually. So here we have a lot of data types are there in Python programming language. From that one, I can explain you first 5 data types. The first one is integer data type. There we can hold the numbers, real numbers, nothing but. Okay. And so we have one more data type that could be the float. There the variables, the data, it could be a real pointing or floating point numbers. So which nothing but minus 4 point, minus 45 point, something like this, or else 89 point, something like this. Okay, point. And we have one more data type that could be the bool. So there we can hold the true or false, true and false data, that we are calling it's a bool. And we have one more data type, complex. Complex means, so in the mathematical notations, complex numbers, something like x plus yi format, right? I means it's imaginary. Y is the imaginary part, x is the real part, and y is the imaginary part, right? In the same way, in case of Python programming language, in place of x it can be any number, in case of y it could be any number, but in case of I it should have the j indicating that it's the imaginary number in Python programming language. Now none type means we are not holding anything, nothing. So these are the 5 data types I can explain you. And if you want to know the data type of anything, then we can use the type function. With help of the type function to return the data type of any variable. If you want to return the data type of any variable, then we can use the type function. For example, I have the variable var, and which we are holding the positive numbers. Okay, if I want to know the data type of var, it can be integer or not. Yes, it can be integer. So in the meanwhile, I can use some negative number. Even it is the negative number, it could also integer only. Even if I use the 0, even if I use the 0, then it could be integer only. Okay. Now, for example, we have the variable, and now we can use the some point, something like this 3.984. This could be the float data type because of its a decimal point is there. And even we can use the minus real floating point also we can use it, then which is also something like this float only. Even 0.0 also it could be float only. So something we are holding the decimal points, pointing floating numbers, then it could be the floating data type. Clear? So here the data it can be holding by the variables. So what type of data if which is holding, if you want to know it, then we can use the type function, and which was returning the integer float as of now. Now I have the variable which is holding the true data. Okay, true keyword. Then it can be returns the bool data type of where it can be written the bool, because of true is the keyword which is the boolean keyword. False is the keyword capital F. Don't use a small f, because of that could be an error again, because of true and false are the keywords which is specially defined for boolean definition variable. If you want to defining the boolean variables, then we can use this true and false keywords. And now we can use the one more keyword, that could be the none. With help of the none keyword, we can defining the nothing, none type. So when the variable which is not holding anything, then we just simply defining with help of the none keyword. So that's it, right? So can you please note these 3 data types examples? So I hope these are the 3 data types you understood, right? Now complex, sorry, 4 data types. Now complex. Complex means a number, it may have the real and imaginary. When the variable which is holding the real and imaginary, then it could be the complex data. Okay, then it could be complex data. So this is exactly the 5 data types in Python programming language. We have 5 more data types are there, which is the data structures of the Python. So usually the people can call in any textbooks are calling it's a Python data structures. So coming to this particular Python data structures, there are totally 5 data type structures are there. The first one is the string data, and second one is the list data, and third one is the tuple data structure, and the fourth one is the set data structure. Last but not least, it could be the dictionary data structure. Total we have the 5 data structures are there. This all 5 data structures we will explain you by tomorrow's session. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Okay, that's for today's session, guys, and we'll catch up by tomorrow's class for continuation of this particular data
It's going
structure.
to be recorded automatically in my computer. Or?
Recorded. It's recorded. I can send you the recording with Canvas. Okay.
Okay.
And Krishna, you can take this all people mail IDs and give the access of the Canvas with new playlist. You can upload this all Python recordings in one specific playlist and give the access to all them. Okay.
Okay.
Krishna, are you there here?
Yes, sir.
So take it all people, all students mail IDs. Okay. And give the access them.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Bye. Take care. See you guys.
Okay. Okay.